query. And this is the practice of deep relaxation. So what we're going to explore together really is the art of doing nothing. And I hope that a number of the postures that we'll explore will support you to allow your nervous systems to have a deep reset. Okay, so what we'll need for this practice will be either yoga props or a number of items that are common to your average household. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to invite you to grab is a bolster. And a bolster is like a big firm cushion. And you can see it's almost the length of a pillow, your average pillow. So if you don't have a bolster at home, feel free to grab 2 or 3 bed pillows that are about that length. That when you recline onto them, because you have 3 of them piled high, they'll provide a little slightly firmer feedback, right, than your average singular pillow. The other thing that I'll invite you to have is a blanket, and a blanket that you could fold so that it either goes the long way if you want to add a little more height. In my case, I'm going to use it in a moment on top of the bolster to give me like a little pillow shape for the first shape that we do together. Also, you'll need either blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks at home, you can also use a stack of books. Just make sure that you have 2 separate stacks that are equidistant from the floor. And the last thing that will support you in this practice is a chair. Okay, so a chair, like a metal folding chair from a card table, is great. Also, I'm just using my dining chair. It's a firm wooden chair, flat seat, and no frills is ideal. Okay, so I want to just point out that as we explore these various shapes, right, the idea of this particular type of yoga is that it's actually passive. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to offer you a way to get into the pose or the shape. And once you're there, the idea is that the shape is comfortable and supported enough so that you don't feel active at all, right? So there's no work to be done in the pose. The pose just kind of gets to work on you. So what will happen generally in the same way when we sit for meditation, right, what will generally happen is you'll find the shape, there'll be stuff that you'll notice will need to settle, and then eventually you'll settle. And if you don't settle, well, that usually means that you just need to adjust your body. Okay, so I'll offer some cues, and yet ultimately you need to listen to yourself and make sure that you feel supported in a way that allows you to relax. Okay, so the first shape we're going to do is a reclined heart opener called Supta Baddha Konasana, if you're interested. So if you take that bolster or your 2 to 3 bed pillows and put them the long way, like this on the mat, and then take your blanket and put it right just towards the edge. It'll be like a little pillow for your head. So once you have that, you can come and sit up against the bolster or the edge of your pillow stack, and then bring the soles of the feet together. Now for most of us, especially depending on how close the feet come together, so that's entirely up to you, for most of us we'll feel a stretch in the inner legs. And although a stretch might feel good for some, it's definitely not passive. So we're going to use those blocks rather, or your stack of books, and put them underneath the knees so that there's no work happening actually in the inner legs to create the shape. From here, you're just going to take your hands behind you and walk them back and recline onto that bolster. Make sure that your skull, the back of your skull, is supported if you added that blanket or a pillow even. And then take your arms alongside your body. Make sure the palms are rotated towards the sky. And take these first few moments to become aware of the parts of you that are coming into contact with a surface. And see if you can allow those points of contact
to get heavier. So there's no effort. You're giving your body permission to surrender to the support underneath it. Now, as the foundation of the shape remains heavy, you might become aware of a lightness, or that gentle fluid motion of the movement of the breath. And you might zoom the inner lens, right, your inner camera lens out a little bit. And if you were trying to capture an image of the whole body, see if you can sense if there are parts of your body that are resisting this idea of letting go and doing nothing. So become aware of those parts of you and see if you can just soften that inner gaze as you watch whatever that part of your body might be. Just notice how bringing your attention to an area that is resisting or tense or perhaps uncomfortable. Just notice how your attention particularly if it's gently held, can begin to cause a shift without really doing anything, but something starts to change. And if you notice that there's some area of your body that really feels uncomfortable, maybe there's even pain, make sure that you make some adjustments. You can take your feet further away from the body if you need to. Or if the bolster is perhaps creating too much of a heart opener, you can create the same shape entirely on your back without any lift to the back body. So make any adjustments you might need to make. And then when you're ready, start to settle again, if you're not already settled. deepen your breathing. And when you're ready, if your eyes are still closed, gently crack them open. And take your hands just outside the knees and gently bring those knees together. Let your arms do the work. And then just roll to one side. It really doesn't matter which side. You can move that block out of the way. And gently slide yourself off your bolster. And pause. So taking time to transition here. You can lengthen that top leg and gently press the hand into the ground, and then make sure the other hand comes onto the ground, keeping your body on its side. So once again, we're using as little effort as possible to encourage relaxation as we make our way up. Okay. So now we're going to do a reclined twist, and we'll do it on both sides so that we're making sure the spine gets to twist in the two directions that it moves. So from here, similar idea, you're just going to take, in this case I'm starting with my left thigh, right up against the bolster. Right? So the side of my hip and part of my thigh is resting on that bolster. And take both hands to frame your bolster, okay, or your pillow stack. And then gently just allow yourself to lengthen over the bolster so that your body is supported. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna pull that blanket or that pillow that was under your head, and it's gonna be under your head again, but it'll be under the cheek so that you're facing in the same direction that your knee is in. And then once again, that transition into a new shape can kick up the dust a little bit. So take these first few moments to allow your body to settle. And if at some point you notice, oh, I'm really not feeling settled at all, it might mean you need to make an adjustment with your body. Allow your breath to come and go on its own. For the first few moments, if it feels supportive, you might even watch your breath. Begin to deepen your breathing now. And when you're ready, just gently walk your hands back a bit. Place the palms into the ground and go very slowly as you transition to keep that feeling of relaxation in your body. Let your head drop so the neck doesn't have to work. And then very carefully, we're just going to turn to the other side. So let your knees rotate up and then to the opposite side. Make sure the bolster's right up against the hip that's closest to it. And then turn your body. So we're creating that twist. Take the palms down, all right, just to help give you a little leverage to turn the body. And then release the whole belly, chest to the bolster, and turn your head in the direction of the knee. We'll just hang out here for a little bit. Notice if there are any movements you need to make so that your body can give over to the bolster, the ground that's allowing it to relax and be carried. Begin to deepen your breathing in preparation for the transition out of this shape that will soon come. And slowly start to walk your hands back. Gently press into the palms, letting your neck be soft so the head will drop. Using your arms to lift up. And then rotate yourself. And just take a moment to pause. Take a seat for a moment, and maybe it's a supported seat by a bolster or one of your blocks. But just take a moment to check in and observe. Gently open your eyes. So now we're going to transition into a seated forward bend, and we're going to do this with the support of the chair. Okay. So for this one, you have some options. If you would like more of an outer hip opener, if you've been doing a lot of running or walking or hiking, this would be nice to open those outer hips. You can keep your legs crossed if they were crossed, or you can just feel free to cross them. Okay, and in this forward bend, you're going to take your arms and just place them one on top of the other and let your body fold forward. Okay, so it's a gentle forward bend. Okay, so that's one option, right? This forward bend encourages the outer hips to open. A second option would be oh, by the way, if you do that option, notice which leg is in front, because I'll encourage you to switch the legs halfway, okay? The second option will be to take your legs wide outside the chair, like so. And this one, when you do this shape, again, we're encouraging a forward fold, but I want you to note for yourself that the spine is long. We want the spine to be long. So for some of us, when the hamstrings get into the equation, it causes us to look more like this, because the hamstrings are tight and they pull the low back into a really deep C curve. So if that's you, this would be a time to use your blankets, or maybe even 2 blankets, or maybe sit on your bolster, or maybe you can give yourself the height of a block, okay? But you're gonna sit on something so that you decrease the degree, the angle of the legs to the hips, so that the stretch is less intense, okay? So the higher you go, the less intense of a stretch, okay? And then it's just the same thing we did a moment ago. Stack your arms, place your forehead on your arms. Okay, now a third option, and this is for folks who have pretty stretchy hamstrings. Okay, this might feel really nice for those of you who are in that category. Is to bring the legs all the way together and stick them underneath the chair. And same forward bend. Okay. So those are your 3 options. Okay, a hip opener, a wide-legged hamstring opener, or a closed-legged hamstring opener. I'll let you decide. And then take your shape, place your arms on the chair, and feel free to know that you can also adjust, right, the angle of the chair, right? The more flexible you are, you might actually take that chair further away. And let your feet be relaxed, let the legs do what they're gonna do. And take the first few moments just to observe the overall tone of your body in this shape. And allow yourself to become mindfully aware of what's arising. If there's resistance, notice that. If there's the kind of discomfort that indicates a stretch is happening, notice that. And if the stretch is active, really active, maybe you back off a little bit, make some adjustments. But eventually allow your body to feel at home so that you can completely let go here. Often when we get this still for a long period of time, it becomes very easy to notice and witness our breathing. So that'll probably be happening. But feel free to be gentle with that mindful breathing awareness. Let go of the reins a little bit so that it's less about mindfulness and instead about just being aware of this deeply relaxing state. If your legs are crossed and you're doing the cross-legged hip opening version of the shape, now is a good time to transition to the second side. And if you're in that category, once again, just take those first several moments to allow yourself to settle and make any adjustments you need so that your body can relax. So there's no work happening, no effort, and similarly no restraint, no pulling away or resisting what's happening. Begin to deepen your breathing. And very slowly, just start to lift your head off the arms. And then find that pause. Enjoy the power of the pause.
open your eyes. And we're coming towards the end here. So we're going to recline now in a pose where the legs will be on the back of the chair. So you don't really need any props except the chair for this one. So move those out of the way. And you're gonna to come into this, I like to come pretty close, take my tush as close to the front legs of the chair, the front edge of the chair, and then lie on my back. Lie on my side, and then take the legs off the chair. Okay, so what you want to feel, however you get into it, is that the back of the calves can really be supported by that chair, okay? And then from here, you can spend the first few moments with your hands on your belly, as if the hands are taking a ride on the waves of your breath. And if your hands feel comfortable on the belly, keep them there. And if it will allow you to settle more deeply into relaxation, take your arms alongside you on either side of the hips. And take a quick zoom with your camera lens again. Scan the body and notice if there are parts of you, particularly those that are coming into contact with the surface, that are resisting the surface. Can you imagine little sandbags being in the backs of the calves, the backs of the heels, the backs of the arms and the hands, back of the pelvis, the back of the ribs and the shoulder blades, the back of the skull. Allow each of those points to get heavier. And let the breath move on its own.
begin to deepen your breathing. And for some of us, we might be able to stay right here or transition into a nap or into bed at the end of a day. And for others of us, we're going to transition up to sit. So wherever you are, just start to gently move your fingers, rotate your head, go really slow, remembering that the transition is the trickiest part. No need to bust out of this relaxed state. Let's see if we can move in such a way that invites this guest of relaxation into everything that we do from this point on. You can gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Maybe give yourself a big hug, rock a little bit side to side. And then roll your legs all the way to one side. Pause, and you can use the arm that's closest to the ground like a little pillow. Just take a moment. No need to rush out of this. And then gently press into the ground. Staying on that side if you can, so that your head and neck can stay relaxed for as long as possible. I'm gonna take my blanket so I can sit on it for the last few moments. And as you find a comfortable seat, it could be on your chair as well. Notice the impact on your heart, your body, and your mind when you spend a few minutes practicing the art of deep relaxation. Just considering when this might be useful for you. How can you make a habit of cultivating restorative practice into your self-care regimen? And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. What a gift you've just given yourself. Thank you.